Fairhaven approach, this is Shuttle 199 from Deep Space Transport Magellan requesting the initial, over. Fairhaven approach, Shuttle 199 requesting initial, please advise. Fairhaven approach, how about some help, guys?
Forget it, typical Fairhaven crap. You want me to take this landing?
No, you took the last one. Anyway, I could do this landing with my eyes closed. Now, if Fairhaven Control actually responded, then I'd be nervous.
Passenger light lit?
Oh, yeah, thanks. Almost forgot. Don't want to be messing around with this one.
Actually, looking at her, I was thinking messing around sounded rather nice.
You see that badge? Inspector General, my boy. Way out of your league.
Inspector General. Coming to Fairhaven? Should be Warner.
Warner about what?
The natives. Rank or no, she's very nice to look at, and I'd hate to see what those cannibals would do to her.
You're ignorant. There are no cannibals at Fairhaven.
Then how come we never see anyone? How come we just land, drop off the supplies, and fly back to Magellan?
Because there's nothing to linger around for. Planet closed its last bar years ago, and New Brainier's only 2 days steam away. I'm in a mood for a town with a little hop in it, not Fairhaven.
Something's wrong with it.
Just a bunch of old people, that's all. Work the imaging for me, would you?
Inspector General. Why would she be coming here?
Excuse me.
Yeah?
You did call them, correct?
Yes, ma'am. We asked for landing instructions and informed Fairhaven Control that a passenger was on board.
And Magellan called as well.
Yes, ma'am, as we left.
Then I just don't understand it.
Ma'am?
Robbie?
Take it easy. Ma'am, have you ever been to Fairhaven before?
Yes, but not for a while.
'Cause this place, ma'am, it's different than other colonies.
How so?
Well, for one, Control never seems to be manned. We never see anybody when we drop off supplies. It's like the people here just don't care. Honestly, ma'am, if I were to walk past that tree line, I don't know what to expect.
You sound worried, Pilot.
I am. I mean, you're an Inspector General. You're an important person. You shouldn't really be going out there unescorted.
I think I can handle Fairhaven just fine.
But, ma'am, we're not really sure what's out there.
I'm sure. Pilot, I was born in Fairhaven.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello?
I got a little sidetracked, so I couldn't meet the transport. I'm Cyrus Woolsey, governor of the colony. Welcome to Fairhaven. Always a pleasure to greet visitors from Administration Central.
Hello, Mr. Woolsey.
Well, hand on a tick. Leona? Mm-hmm. Oh, Leona. Well, paint me red. It's little Leona, all grown up. You were, 12 when I saw you last?
About that. It was a long time ago, anyway.
Well, the years have been a lot kinder to you than to me, I'll tell you that. Let me have a look at you. Good heaven above if I were 40 years younger.
How's Lana? Your wife.
Oh, yes. Fine. Fine. She's fine. Well, why on earth didn't you tell us it was you coming? Here the council has been up in arms for a month at the thought of an inspector on the way. Oh, and it turns out to be little Leona making a homecoming.
Well, this is an official visit. There was about a dozen places online for my next assignment, but when I saw Fairhaven on the route list, I couldn't resist.
Oh, but you should have called us. We could have... Well, a celebration is in order.
Is town still this way?
Oh, absolutely. Here, let me get your bag. Oh.
The gravity units are on the side here.
Oh, one of the new ones. Ah, better. Come, my dear, let's take you home. Office is still in there. That hasn't changed.
That and nothing else. Everything looks exactly the same.
Well, that's the way people around here, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. My grandpa used to say that.
Yeah, that's why Mom and Dad wanted to leave.
Oh, how are your folks?
Divorced. Dad remarried. Mom's thinking about going to another colony.
Colonial life gets under your skin. Oh, where was that bottle? Here we are. A little hair of the transport that bit you. This is some of Mr. Dietrich's apple brandy. Set it up himself about 15 years ago.
Still alive and making brandy, I bet.
Alive, yes. 2 surprises.
Surprises.
Now, tell me who you'd like to see. I imagine you'd want to meet all your old teachers, of course. Retired now, but I think most of them are still here.
Mr. Woolsey, can we talk business first? I do want to see everyone, you're right, but...
Of course, Leona. Have a seat. Now, what business does Administration Central have with a little backwater like us?
Oh, the usual questions.
Questions?
Mm-hmm. We started our 21st colony last year.
That a fact.
Some have been successful, some haven't. Fairhaven's considered a success, but there are questions.
Oh, there's that word again.
And the questions are important, because when people sign on as colonists to new colonies, they expect the administration to be able to help, to be able to tell them some of the problems they might encounter, how to deal with disease, how to survive at first, and then how to build a progressively improving standard of living.
Leona, I've been governor of Fairhaven for 40 years. You're telling me things they told us day one of the training seminar.
Well, I guess my little pre-rehearsed speech isn't going so well.
Look, why don't we go out and see who's sitting in the town square? You'd be surprised who's still around.
I've been dispatched to find out what's happened to this colony.
So Central thinks something's wrong?
Central knows something's wrong. This was originally designated as a mineral colony. You haven't exported ore in 3 years.
Oh, is that what this is about? The mine played out, that's all. Oh, I know I should have sent a form back to Central. It was here somewhere. Been sitting on my desk for months, you want to know the truth.
What about the Ayla root, the fiber those women used to weave into clothing and blankets?
Oh, you mean the women's co-op? They all abandoned that years ago. It got to be too much work.
But when I was little, those women were creating unique designs, sending them back on the transports. I remember my mother taking me to a party when I was about 8. It was a celebration for the co-op. They'd just gotten their payment from a clothing distributor on Earth. They were excited, talking about opening up a full-fledged weaving mill.
Oh, I don't know what to tell you. The women just gave it up.
It's not just the co-op or the mine. It's everything. When I was little, Fairhaven was an outpost. We even had a hotel for a while, remember?
Oh, I remember how much trouble it was. Fights in the bar every weekend. A lot of strangers coming in from off-world. More trouble than it was worth. I was happy when it burned.
It burned? When?
I can't remember. 4 years, 5 years.
I've got no report of a fire in the files. That hotel was the largest structure in town. It should have been reported.
Well, like I told you, it piles up sometimes. I guess I just forgot.
Mr. Woolsey, I don't want you to take this wrong.
I understand.
But this used to be a thriving colony.
I understand. I'm an old man, should have retired years ago.
And you've just dropped off the map. That's why they sent me here, to find out why.
I guess when I saw you there, I hoped it was just a visit.
A visit was part of it, I suppose. Since Mom and Dad moved us back to Earth, I thought about coming back often.
Why didn't you visit then? Oh, we love seeing you. Unless... Oh.
Is he still here?
Mm-hmm. Went back to Earth, finished medical school, and then returned. He's our town doctor now, just like his father before him.
I suppose you heard what happened on Earth. We were both at university at the same time, a couple of colonial kids adrift in the big city. We just sort of fell in together.
I'll tell you this, Leona. There are a handful of pretty girls here. He hasn't had time for any of them.
Time, that always was it.
Pardon?
Nothing. I need to inspect everything, Mr. Woolsey, and I need to start right away. The next transport comes through in 48 hours.
Can't understand it. Usually a lot of people out in the square this time of day. Must be the heat.
It's just as well. When the mine closed, did the office close with it?
Well, nobody uses it anymore, if that's what you mean. Whoa now!
Excuse me.
Oh, Bart, you practically ran over our guest.
I'm sorry.
Leona, you remember Dieter and Maura. This their youngest, Barton.
Hello, Barton. I knew your mom and dad.
Hello.
Is it a holiday from school today?
We've been outside for a long time.
Oh, you're homeschooled.
Mom, Dad, she's supposed to have lessons for us, but she don't remember some days.
You can run along now, Barton.
But your parents chose to homeschool, is that right?
Chose? What chose?
That's good, Barton. Why don't you run along and play now? I hear the fish are really jumping at the South Branch.
Are you our new teacher, lady? We ain't had a teacher a long time.
Barton, would you show me your school? I went there a long time ago, but I don't know if I can find it.
Sure thing, sure thing. It's over here.
Oh, no.
Here you go.
It's an old building, isn't it, Barton?
Don't know old. Just falling down and stuff. Did you really go here when you were little?
Mm-hmm.
How come I never see you around here?
I don't live on Fairhaven anymore. When I was a little older than you, my family moved back to Earth.
You left Fairhaven?
What's so surprising about that?
Oh, finally caught up with the two of you. Old legs can't compete. Now, Barton, the young lady and I have a lot of business, so you run along now, okay?
I'll talk to you later, all right, Barton?
Sure, Bubba.
They grow up so wild here in the colonies. I remember one time a bunch of kids came out of the woods covered in berry juice. They'd been using like war paint.
I remember that.
Leona?
What happened to this school, Mr. Woolsey?
Well, the colony's changed, of course. We just don't have the young children like we used to. A few years ago, it seemed like the thing to do was to close the school and leave the families in charge of educating their children. There's only a handful left, you know. What are you doing?
Homeschool resource kits are one of the things colonists can request from Central. I'm just seeing if we shipped any here.
Oh.
You know the answer to it already, don't you? The requisitions would have gone through you. Mr. Woolsey, I think it's time you explain to me what's happened to Fairhaven.
Yeah, do you mind terribly much that I have to take you to see John?
If it will explain what's happened here, I don't mind at all.
Knock, knock. John, you in here?
Yeah, come on back. Well, Governor, old pal, to what do I owe this?
Well, I told you an inspector general was coming. Look who it turned out to be.
Are you going to say hello?
You're here on business?
Why else?
John, Leona...
You're here to inspect Fairhaven.
Actually, I've already started. Mr. Woolsey and I had a talk. I saw the school.
You told her?
I couldn't do it as well as you, John, so...
Mr. Woolsey, could you give us just a minute?
What?
Just 5 minutes, please.
I'll check next door, see if Dilrick is in.
Do that.
Woolsey seems to think you're the man to explain everything. John, what?
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
You don't even give me a chance for witty repartee? You realize, of course, I could have you arrested for assault of an administrative official.
Don't joke, please. God, I missed you.
Really?
Of course.
Funny, I kind of missed that about you. 10 years. No calls, emails, anything?
You didn't contact me either.
I was the one that got dumped, remember? I need some pride.
I was wrong. I'm sorry. I was full of myself and full of the idea of coming back here and continuing where Dad left off. You wanted to stay on Earth.
I still do.
So it couldn't have worked.
You're talking to me or to yourself?
I don't know. Why are you here?
You think I'm here for you?
No, of course not. Are you?
You're the only reason I haven't been back before now.
Oh.
I'm here because of my job. I admit I thought it would be nice to see you again in a self-esteem crushing sort of way, but I didn't make this trip on my own. Fairhaven came up on the route list just like any other colony. When I took the assignment, my supervisor went through the file with me. That's not standard procedure, by the way. Fairhaven is a special case. Administration Central has a lot of questions.
Which brings us back to the beginning.
Which brings us back to before the kissing bandit struck?
You can't blame me.
Sure I can.
You're not even flattered?
A little. But experience with you, John, has taught me to control these feelings. The alternative is problematic.
Woolsey's back.
And not a moment too soon.
Oh, Dulrich was in all right. Yeah, man'll talk your ear off if you let him. Have we had a little chat?
Yes.
Then she knows.
She doesn't know enough.
I need to inspect the mine. Would both of you come with me, please?
I have a lot of work here.
The bottle can wait, John. Come on. If the tiller bugs out by the mine are as big as I remember, I'm going to need 2 big, strong men to protect me.
I suppose you could make it an order if you wished.
Actually, I couldn't. Not for the colony doctor, anyway.
In that case, let's go.
And the pit was never expanded after that.
Well, we talked about it, of course. But we didn't have the resources for another expansion. And not to mention, the vegetation line was getting awfully close. Central law says we need a 20-meter buffer zone between mining and natural vegetation.
There are dispensations for that. And as far as the money goes, there are plenty of investment firms on Earth and elsewhere.
Well, we're awfully small potatoes here.
But that doesn't really matter. As long as you give a return, someone would have been willing to put up the cash for an expansion.
You seem to know a lot about our problems here.
That's why they sent me. Oh, Dad taught me a lot about this mine.
Your father was the best engineer we ever had.
There's a lot of quarter nuggets here, too. They can be collected and refined, too, you know.
We always understood that wasn't cost-effective.
There are new methods. Honestly, Mr. Woolsey, when was the last time anyone worked this mine?
Well, let's see. John, do you...
2.5 years.
Uh-huh. And in your opinion, Mr. Woolsey, is this mine played out?
Oh, Leona, please. Call me Cyrus.
What about you, Doctor? Do you think this mine is played out? Do you think its usefulness is at an end?
Why don't you tell me what you think?
You'll get a copy of my report.
But what do you think? What are your first impressions?
That this pit has a good 5 years left in it, maybe more. And there's room for expansion. Offhand, I'd say there's 30 years left in this mine.
Well, now, Leona...
School children have no place to go to school. Basic jobs like space traffic control are ignored. The pilot corps are well aware of Fairhaven and the fact that it's not a good place to be.
I hardly think the opinion of a couple of...
Let her finish.
At one point, this was a thriving colony. An outpost of civilization. Okay, so maybe it was a long way off the track, but it was still a place that had a future. And now I don't know what it is. Well, what happened, Mr. Woolsey?
That's not really the question, is it?
What do you mean?
The question isn't what happened to the colony. The question is what happened to the colony's people.
All right, what happened to the colony's people?
Oh, John.
She has to know.
But are you sure?
Do you know a way around it? You want to see what happened?
Yes.
Then come with me. I'm sure you recognize this.
Of course, it's the old transport system. These have been phased out in most colonies.
Mm-hmm. A pilot that was here last year told me it was the only one still operational in the quadrant.
That's right. This line is the point of pride for the whole community.
Yes, it is. Notice anything interesting about it, Leona?
I'm not sure what you mean.
The school is falling down. The landing field, covered with weeds. The mine, by your own estimation, still a viable commodity left to rust. But this line is in perfect working order.
And you're going to tell me why that's significant?
Look at it. These are old heavy metal contacts. They need to be lubricated by hand or else the car will freeze up. The cabling was steel, originally from Earth. We've had to replace it 3 times. Do you know how much that cost us last time? Raw steel from Earth?
Oh, John, please.
It cost more money than this colony actually had.
You're beginning to catch on. When we were kids, there were 5 of these lines. Take you out from the settlement to the furthest reaches of the colony. Do you recognize the one we're on?
This is the lake line, isn't it?
Yes. I remember when they finished this system. I must have been 9 or 10.
I do too.
Remember how they used to talk in those days? Colonists working together for the good of everyone? This was going to be the transport system to connect us all. The other 4 lines, they went to the mine, or out to the farmers' fields, or places like that. They were intended to haul goods and supplies and take people to and from work. Do you remember what this line was for?
Yes.
This line was for recreation.
Lake Abershaw.
Beautiful Lake Abershaw. The reason most of our families chose this colony. The mine was hard work and the soil was poor for the farmers, and we were a hell of a long way from everything. But there were those weekends at the lake to make it all worthwhile. Do you remember the line? Do you remember how it goes?
We're over the gorge.
That's right. Remember spitting out into the gorge even when our parents told us not to?
Yes.
So what's next?
The line will go up slightly to crest that hill, then the lake will be on the other side.
That's right. There we go. Engine's always strained just a bit to make it over that hill.
John, stop the car.
Why, Wolfie? What could ever be the matter?
We have to explain to her. We can't let her see.
See? Well, that's the point, isn't it, Wolfie? That's why we're in this car, going toward the lake. We're going to let her see because a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Well, Leona, you have to understand, we have an aging population. Life can be very hard out here in the colonies.
Very hard, huh?
It's not the same colony you grew up in. But there is a place for us, I'm sure. If the administration would only understand.
What are you talking about?
The burba trees have grown in around the line again. You won't see the lake until we get through them.
I'm begging you, stop the car.
Why?
To give me a chance to explain.
There is no explanation. You're just floundering around trying to buy yourself some time.
Oh, John, for God's sake.
God is what we're all about around here. Enjoying his creation.
That's blasphemy.
It's the truth. Leona, I'm sure you read up on the current condition of Fairhaven before coming. What does Administration Central say about our population?
Last records said you had about 3,000.
Not bad, given the way Woolsey keeps up the official communicates. Yeah, it's pretty close. It's actually around 2,400.
Fine, what does the population have to do with the lake?
We're coming up to the burba trees. Once the car goes through them, you'll see. There it is. Beautiful Lake Abershaw.
I don't understand.
Leona, it's a very complex lifestyle we've developed here.
Are they all there? Is every last member of the colony in the lake?
There's the occasional oddball. That kid, for example, the one who showed you the school. He likes to explore. Likes ruins. He'll make a great archaeologist someday, should he be able to leave.
Mr. Woolsey?
Everyone is here.
Is it a holiday of some kind?
No, it isn't.
Then why?
I can't explain it at all. It's John that'll do the explaining from now on.
John?
The ride's almost over, Leona. Let's go down and meet the folks.
Oh, look. The car's coming back. I didn't know there was anyone left in the settlement except crazy old Dr. John.
Crazy old Dr. John.
Honey,
What is it now? I'm floating.
give me another push, would you?
You shouldn't push so much. It's bad for you.
Oh, you can't talk. I pushed you just 5 minutes ago.
That was an hour ago. Float for a while.
Please, baby.
Fine. Ready?
Ready.
They're cheering for you again, baby.
I almost did it that time. I almost breathed it.
You're pushing too much.
Maybe I am, but the way I feel. Oh,
Hey! What's that?
it's a little one floating by. See that?
Oh, baby. Is it one of ours?
I don't think so. It's not breathing anyway. Float away, little baby. Float away.
I wish I could float like that.
Baby. Give me another push, would you?
You shouldn't push so much. It's bad for you.
Oh, you can't talk. I pushed you just 5 minutes ago.
That was an hour ago. Go for a while.
Please, baby. I don't understand.
I tried to make it clear. John needs to explain this.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
What's wrong with these people? The mine left to rust, the town falling apart, no one in the rest of the system even wanting to visit here. Every last one of them's at the lake?
Observe closer.
What do you mean?
What do you see?
People swimming. Get to your point.
That is my point. What do you do when you go to the Lake Leona? You swim a little, you lie in the sun, you go grab a hot dog over at Vic's.
Vic's? It used to be over there, didn't it?
Yes. It burned down 2 years ago.
Just get to your point.
What are they doing?
There's no one on the beach.
No, there isn't.
They're all swimming. That's not right. 2,000 people in one place and no one's up on the sand?
All in the water.
What's wrong with them?
Leona?
Oh, Mrs. Fredrickson?
It is you, little Leona. You're big.
Yes, Mrs. Fredrickson.
How is your mother?
Fine, she's back on Earth.
Oh, she'll be coming to the lake today, won't she?
No, ma'am, she's back on Earth.
That's a shame. The lake is so nice this time of year.
Mrs. Fredrickson, are you all right? You're so thin, and where's your bathing suit?
The bees stung me once when I was little. I blew up like a balloon. You'll come into the lake, won't you, Leona?
Not right now.
Oh, you must come.
Oh, Myrna, leave the girl alone. She's just off the transport and she's tired.
Lake'll fix that up. That's what you need.
Oh, let go! You're hurting me!
Come along, come along.
Myrna, John!
I have her. Let go, Mrs. Fredrickson.
Why don't you go back for another swim, Myrna? We'll take care of Leona.
Swimming, Blake.
My God. She broke the skin. She practically broke my wrist.
That kind of strength is one of the side effects.
What's wrong with them all? Are they all naked like that?
No, there's a little of everything out there. From the ones like Myrna to people fully clothed. Rob Thomas once spent an entire weekend in the lake in his best suit, briefcase and all.
She had some...
Sores, yes. I'm working on a topical salve for them. Nothing much works yet. I think it's the high mineral content in the water.
John.
Yes?
Take me back to town, please.
Why? Don't you want to inspect what's happened?
I've seen enough. Take me back. And when we get there, you can explain how this happened.
Aren't you hungry?
Of course not.
Well, I go to the trouble of ordering up a meal like this. I'd think you would...
Stop it.
You're not helping things.
Helping what? I need to try and understand what's going on here, and all I get from you is a few cryptic comments.
The sunset isn't very pretty tonight. One of the things I miss about the mine. When it was in operation, the sunsets were spectacular.
Is this about the mine?
Look, we'll have this out, but I was hoping we could talk about something else for a little while.
You're insane.
No, just infatuated, I guess.
With me.
Don't sound so disgusted.
I'm not. It's just typical. That always was you. The worst possible time in the worst possible place. Do you remember how we broke up?
No.
My parents wanted to see you. They remembered you here in the colony as a kid, but they wanted to meet the man I was going to be with. So we set up dinner. You called me at the restaurant and told me over the phone. I had to go back to the table with my folks and explain why you weren't coming.
I don't remember that.
You were a resident. I always seemed to excuse everything for you.
I'm sorry.
I'm done eating, John.
Oh, okay. I guess we can...
Did you hear me? I said I'm done eating. I'm done swallowing what you're trying to feed me. Is it a disease?
No.
Radiation cloud. The mine. Were there side effects from the mine?
No.
Give me something, damn it!
Leona, calm down.
And I'm not going to calm down. Explain it to me.
Come on.
This is all that's left?
Yes, we only stopped meeting about a year ago, so it's still in relatively good shape.
Ugh.
Yeah, we thought it would be appropriate to have our town hall made of iron. We didn't know the upkeep it would take. The whole place is run through with rust.
Only a year for all this?
Only a year.
These were the council chambers.
Remember town meetings when we were kids?
Of course, they were boring.
They still are.
You said it all happened here.
It all started here, yes. About 4 years ago, a ship crash landed here. It wasn't like anything we'd ever seen. The pilot, well, he wasn't human. We had a meeting trying to decide what to do. The pilot was locked up in jail. We voted to give it whatever help it needed and send it on its way. But when we tried to let it out, it bolted for the woods. We tried to catch it, to hold on. It had some sort of defense mechanism, a tar-like substance it could project. At first we thought it just blinded you. Then some of the people who recovered from the attacks began to act strangely. Before I knew what was happening, I realized it was contagious, viral-based. It spread through the whole colony in no time.
And you never once called Central. All extraterrestrial contact is supposed to be sent in at once.
Don't you remember what it's like out here? We're self-reliant, Leona. Or we were, anyway. Why bring Central into something we can take care of ourselves?
And you didn't do anything.
Of course we did something. We did everything we could.
No, I mean you. You, personally. You didn't do anything? I remember what you used to be like, by the book, strict. When we were in school, you talked about coming back here and setting all these people straight. You wanted to break them of that self-reliance and bring them into this century. Are you telling me you had an epidemic on your hands and you didn't call Central?
People change, I guess.
John, you're going to need to do a lot better than that.
I don't think I can.
You have to. Look, if you can't explain this, I can't give an approval to Fairhaven. You know what it means to be dropped from the list? No more seeds, no more foodstuffs, no more trade, and whatever medicine you need, you'll need to find it on the black market. All this for a colony that's on permanent vacation. And how do they even eat, anyway?
They're not totally helpless. The virus resembles a drug addiction. They have good days, bad days. Sometimes people even talk about going back to work again. But it always passes.
John, what happened? What really happened?
If Woolsey knew I was going to tell you this...
Woolsey would understand. I know he would.
Come with me. And keep your voice down. Duck in here for a minute.
Where are we going? John?
I'm... sorry, Leona.
Wait, John! Oh, John, what is wrong with you? Do you realize how much trouble you just made for yourself?
Leona?
Yes? John? John! It can't be this way. It just can't. I don't believe that he would do something like this. Why?
My mom told me it's crazy to talk to yourself.
How long have you been there?
Don't know. A while.
It's your name. It's Barton.
Uh-huh.
What are you doing up there, Barton?
Looking around. Mostly I look around.
You like to explore?
Explore?
Look around, I mean?
Oh, yeah. I hear you walking around here, so I come looking in the window. You okay, lady?
No, Barton, I'm not. I came into this room and the door shut behind me. It's locked.
Oh, you want me I should let you out?
Could you do that?
Easy, sure. I know 50 million ways into old places. Wait, right there.
Oh, Barton, thank you so much.
Easy, sure.
Where are the others?
Don't know. Haven't seen no one for a while. Lake, I suppose.
Do you like going to the lake, Barton? I'm sorry, did I embarrass you?
Embarrass?
Did I make you feel bad by asking that question?
Tween.
Tween? I don't understand.
You know, tween. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel bad. I felt tween, good and bad.
What would you say if I told you you're the smartest person in Fairhaven?
Liar. I'm dumb.
No, you're not.
Mom, Dad, everybody says so. I don't like the lake. That makes them mad.
They get mad when you don't want to go to the lake.
Uh-huh. Dad says I think I'm too good for them.
I bet a boy like you knows a lot of good hiding places.
A few, suppose.
If I promised you never to tell anybody, could you take me to one of those hiding places now? Someplace where no one could find us?
Sure. Yes, but why?
Barton, I think the lake is bad. I think it makes people here do bad things, like call their boys stupid. I want to fix the lake so it's not bad anymore.
They won't like it. They like the lake a lot.
That's why I need to hide, okay?
Okay. My little mouth's voice. Let's go. Most of the time, Mommy doesn't cook at all.
That's sad.
It's all right. There's tree food. I learned to fish, too. I can catch one, clean it, and cook it all by myself.
What do your parents do for food?
Tree food, other stuff. Mr. Icebox, he keeps his store open sometimes when he's not at the lake.
Why don't you like the lake, Barton?
Make everybody do things. Before the lake got bad, people had stores. People did things. Old things. Dig in the mine, push pencils.
Push pencils?
Yeah, you know, my mom had a job. She said it was pencil pushing.
I have a job like that, too.
You have a job?
Of course.
What is it?
I'm an inspector. It's my job to go around and make sure the colonies have everything they need. And if there's any problems, I help fix them.
Fairhaven have a problem, don't it?
Yes, Barton. Fairhaven has a big problem.
I knew it. Lake wasn't good. Lake wasn't right.
Barton, a minute ago you talked about when the lake went bad.
Uh-huh.
Did the lake used to be good?
Lake didn't used to make people swim in it. It used to just be a lake.
But now it makes people swim in it. Barton.
Used to be fun. Boats, canoes. Now ruined. Everybody in the lake all the time. Looking at you funny if you don't want to be in the lake. I wish the pills were still here.
The pills?
Before the lake, we had pills.
What did the pills do, Barton?
Same as the lake. Not only so much. Mommy would take one, maybe 2 pills a day, and she would feel better, but she would still do stuff. Teach me, cook me food, and not just true food all the time.
I see.
No.
What is it?
No, please, no.
Barton, calm down. I'm right here.
They're coming out of the lake.
Who is?
Everyone. They're mad when they do that. Everyone out of the lake at once. They burn things.
What is wrong with these people?
No.
Barton, will you be safe here?
Don't leave me. No.
Okay, hush. Quiet. I won't leave you. I promise. But I need to know about the pills.
Pills?
The pills you talked about, the good ones. Who gave them the pills, Barton? Who gave everyone the pills?
Doctor.
Barton, I need to go see Doctor.
I'll come with you. I know short way to Doctor. I'll be quiet.
All right.
Mouse voice.
There's a light on in his office.
Quiet, lady, please.
John?
Hello, Leona. And staff.
What are you doing? What's that smell?
A little bit like kerosene, isn't it? We used to brew it ourselves for the backup generators. Burns like you wouldn't believe.
Looks like you were getting ready to have a little fire.
You like it? Every record I've got, every disc, every cube, every piece of paper. It's been a pretty dry year, so I figure these records go up, the building will go with it. One spark. And poof, no more Fairhaven.
Why are you doing this?
Had to. Needed time to think.
About what? Saving your own skin?
To begin with, yes. Upon further reflection, Madam Inspector, I concluded that my skin was right out of the equation. I gave up trying to save it.
You remember Barton, don't you?
Of course, everyone knows Barton. He hangs around like a conscience.
He was telling me some things about the lake.
I bet he was.
And he never mentioned anything about an extraterrestrial.
Wasn't one. I made it up.
To fool me.
Never did have much imagination. Don't you remember? I wouldn't have passed high school composition if you hadn't have helped me.
John, there's a mob out there, and they're angry about something, and I have the sneaking suspicion that it's me.
News travels fast.
News of what?
That the candy store is being shut down.
John.
Wait, I'm getting my courage together.
What did you do to these people?
I cured them.
From what?
From themselves. That's what ailed them, so that's what I did.
Tell about the pills.
What?
Tell about the pills, doctor. She nice lady. She understand about the pills.
Pardon. Our conscience. Do you have any idea what our depression rate was? Suicide? Domestic abuse? Substance abuse? Seems funny now, but it was a real problem then. I'll say this for your old dad. He saw it coming. He got the hell out in years in advance of the trouble.
What trouble?
The mine, the town, everything. You're right about the mine. It's got another year or 3 in it, but what after that? About 5 years ago, we started having these town meetings, right there in the chambers where you and I were. They disintegrated quickly. People would come in with all kinds of lame ideas for saving the colony. It was always the same. We'd discuss an idea, people would take sides, yelling would start. Everyone would leave in a huff, then come back in a week and repeat the process. Each week a different idea, every week the same result. Then someone, I don't even remember who, came in with a crazy story about Central providing colonies in trouble with free pharmaceuticals. We had a lot of meetings like that. This drug idea, it got under people's skin. We kept discussing it. They wouldn't let it go.
What were these drugs supposed to be?
The rumor was that you could have your colony declared a psychiatric disaster area and receive free aid. Antidepressants.
That's ridiculous. Central's has never offered a program like that.
That's what we told them after we researched it, but they wouldn't let it go. They were convinced the program was hidden somewhere in the bureaucracy. We just had to be clever enough to find it. I guess it was 2 years ago I made the first batch of pills.
What pills?
Look on your manifest, Inspector. 2 years ago, we had a sharp increase in our need for pharmaceutical supplies, pill casings.
Dear God. John, what were you feeding these people?
What they wanted. They wanted something to take the darkness away. So I gave it to them. That's what all of us need, isn't it? A magic pill to make the bad stuff go away? I knew it was only temporary. You would have noticed sooner or later that a little colony of 3,000 was ordering an awful lot of pill casings. I started weaning them off. They didn't like that. Then we had another one of those meetings.
John, what was in the pills?
Everyone yelling about what to do. I had told them we were running low. We had to do with less. They were getting angry, out of control. We were going to have a riot on our hands, so I told them I would put it in the water supply.
You poured drugs in this colony's water supply? Stand up.
Why?
Get away from those documents. They're evidence. This entire colony just became a crime scene.
For what?
You admitted to pouring mood-altering chemicals into the colony's water supply. I can think of 3 or 4 statutes I can convict you on.
But they wanted them
That's
there.
immaterial. You don't have the right to create an entire colony of drug addicts.
It's not like that.
I'll bet it isn't.
It's worse.
What?
I remember it was Mrs. Janal, about a month after the water supply meeting. She had a grandbaby getting born over in New Brainerd. She was gone for 2 weeks. When she got back, she went running down to the lake, convinced she was going through withdrawal. Then she jumped in, clothes and all. Claimed she could feel it working right through her skin.
Then she was going through withdrawal.
Think, Leona. The lake is our water supply. It's over 1 million hectares. How much drugs would I have to dump at the lake before they weren't diluted?
What are you saying?
There were no drugs in the lake. There were no drugs in the pills. There were never any mood-altering chemicals, ever.
What?
They wanted a solution that didn't exist, so I gave it to them.
But the behavior...
Suggestion, mass delusion, whatever you want to call it. Every day just built upon the last until it wasn't a lie anymore. My only real mistake was that the whole thing worked too well.
How many know?
Just Wolfie and myself.
John, I have to arrest you. That's your only chance to make this right.
Too late. I'm going to get good and drunk, and then I'm going to drop a match on this pile, and then...
Why? The inspectors will come, and the people will get help, and the colony will get shut down.
Shut down? You think it's going to shut down? Where in the law does Central have the authority to do that?
Do you want it to continue like this?
I don't have a choice.
Why?
Because if they found out the truth, people can handle being drug addicts. There's help for that, therapy. What if they found out it was all a lie, that they did it to themselves?
They can be helped.
No, they can't. Not from that. But if the records were gone, and I were dead,
What?
and I were dead, with all proof of the lie gone with me, these people could get help and get on with their lives.
What about your life?
I spent it. I tried to help people, and it went more wrong than you can possibly imagine. More poetic this way. I die in a fire, Central comes in, listens to the stories of the people, gets them help.
And when the doctors find no trace of drugs in their systems, what will they think?
They'll think they didn't know what to look for. They'll look at the evidence, the people, the fact that I killed myself and burned all the records, and they'll come to the only conclusion they possibly could. These people were poisoned by a madman.
They're in the building.
I'd find a place to hide if I were you.
You're under arrest.
Well, that completes my day.
Come with me, leave the records.
No.
John!
No, I said. You can't make me come with you, Leona, and you can't stay here because they'll find you. Your only chance is to get out of here now.
Promise me you won't do anything.
No.
Damn you. Let me say one thing and then I'll leave. Those people out there, they need to take some responsibility for this. They wanted quick fix pills, then they wanted a fix in the water supply, and then they wanted nothing but a fix. If they're ever going to function again, they will need to take responsibility for that. They'll need to see that giving up on work, giving up on maintaining the colony, giving up on the future, those were choices. Choices they made. And it wasn't the fault of just one man. Barton? Can you get me back to the hiding place and avoid that mob?
I know a better one. Closer.
I'm going to need to hide for 24 hours. Will the mob burn itself out by then?
Of course.
I'll be at the spaceport tomorrow at 1700. I will need you to explain everything. Please be there.
Am I under arrest?
Barton, would you like to go on a trip with me?
Spaceship?
Have you ever been on one?
I'd like to watch some land take off. Is it loud inside?
Louder than anything. Oh, come on. I hope you'll come. We have to deal with this.
That's exactly what I want to do.
Is it here? Is it here yet?
It'll be here, don't worry.
How do you know? How do you know?
They have to keep a schedule. It's their job.
Fairhaven Control, this is Shuttle 623 from Magellan. Are you there, Inspector?
We're at the field, Captain. I don't think you need the approach vectors, do you?
No, ma'am. Everyone lands in Fairhaven goes solo. Did you find out anything?
Too much.
Say again? Didn't copy that, ma'am.
Nothing. Radio Magellan, tell them I need an interspace link set up by the time we dock. I have to make an emergency report.
Is everything okay down there?
We can see you now, 623. End transmission. I did not see John at the spaceport. I didn't see him ever again. As we rose above the colony, I looked for signs of smoke rising from the village, but there was nothing. Later, when health service teams landed at Fairhaven, they found all John's records on his desk, reeking of fuel, but intact. Later investigations would show the story happened pretty much the way he'd said it had. The people generally were open to being helped. For the next 6 months, a hospital ship was in orbit over Fairhaven, dispensing counseling and, when absolutely necessary, pharmaceuticals. Barton and his parents were reunited. They live in New Brainerd now. When only 2 or 3 people expressed an interest in returning to Fairhaven after treatment, Central Administration declared the colony dead. And even those 2 or 3 found homes somewhere else. The former members of Fairhaven Colony have been completely uncooperative with Central's attempts to document and understand what happened there. Dr. John Olander was never found, even after an extensive search of the planet's surface. Central Administration has decided to cold case this file, declaring that an interview with him is necessary to fully understand Fairhaven. Understandably, I have been taken off the case. Sometimes I wish my parents hadn't have left. I don't really know if my presence in this situation would have made a difference, but I'd like to think, if given the chance. Well, who really knows? The only thing I know for sure is that I will never see my home again.
A Distant Land. Our story this evening featured Tom Bement as Woolsey, Linda Faith as Mrs. Fredrickson, the Lake Lady. Jeffrey Adams was the pilot. Piran Irwin played Barton. Jim Yount portrayed John. And Anna Remus starred as Leona. Sound effects were created by Dave Irwin and Jeffrey Adams, with some effects borrowed from the Freesound project at freesound.org. Script, music, and sound design by Jeffrey Adams. This program is copyright 2009 by the Icebox Radio Theater. iceboxradio.org.